Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn with Marianne. We have a Lunch and Learn on the second Tuesday of every month. If you are a MAWB directory member and you would like to facilitate a Lunch and Learn, please reach out to me. I have an application you can fill out. And this Lunch and Learn, or this, not going forward. There we go. The agenda for these Lunch and Learns is we do our welcome and introductions. I share some upcoming events. I introduce you to the speaker. They do their presentation. The speaker usually has an offer at the end of their presentation, and then we close out. I do upload the recording to our YouTube channel, and I share that with anyone who has missed the session. So that's how the day or this 1 hour will unfold. So today we're here. We're very fortunate to have Marianne D'Alessandro here with us today. She is a popular gal in the MAWB network, and she has done Lunch and Learns with us in the past. Today's Lunch and Learn is called Ready, Set, Launch. And it's going to be a great session for anyone who's planning a new launch, to launch something new, like a product, a service, or an event. Marianne will walk us through her 6-step launch methodology, her MAP, to help us plan, create, and execute with confidence. In today's session, she's going to give us this step-by-step roadmap, explain why the process works and how it can work for you. And yeah, just to try to help you get started. I'm assuming that many of you will have some offers or products or events, something coming out in the fall. The September timeframe with the kids going back to school always feels like the start of a new year almost. So I do find that a lot of people have launches or offers during that timeframe. And if you're going to have launching something in September, you're going to be starting to get ready now. And Marianne will give you way more information on timeline and what you need. But if you have not met Marianne, she is the founder of Time Flies, Plan, Create, and Execute. She's a business support specialist who assists her clients with setting up systems and processes for their next launch. So before I hand it over to Marianne, I'm just going to share with you folks some of our upcoming events. As you know, the MAWB hosts networking events as well as training facilitated by myself. We do have Canva coming up on July 9th, which is tomorrow, and the 16th. It's pretty intensive. It's a 6-hour session split up into 2 weeks. It's going to be held in Milton at the Chamber of Commerce, and our friends at Milton Blinds are actually sponsoring the event. And so they're providing the venue. So it's going to be a small, intimate gathering. I think we have about 6 or 7 people, and opportunity to ask lots of questions and work on your own projects. The other event that we have, whoopsie, did I go backwards? Hang on. I went way somewhere else that I shouldn't have gone. Give me a second, gals. The next one that we have, close, is, the heck? Where? Oh, where? There's the X button. Sorry about that. Got myself a little far in the presentation. You see, got lots of files here. Okay, let's do that again. So we have Canva, and then we have ChatGPT. If you haven't taken a ChatGPT course, or if you're not using it, I highly recommend it. It's super, super helpful in getting that your productivity up. And I just find sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm so tired because I've done all the stuff I had to do. Now I have to remember to, get out there and schedule some posts and say something meaningful. It definitely helps to get my thoughts together. So that session is running tomorrow, Thursday night. It's 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And if anyone is interested, all of our events are loaded on the MAWB.ca website on the events page. And anyone who is a MAWB directory member does get 10% off our events and training. If you're thinking about registering for this, I would jump on board. There is a pre-work assignment that I give out. It's nothing difficult. it is the information that we are using for our first exercise when we learn how to train ChatGPT. So it sounds like you and knows about your offers and your services and your products rather than just generic stuff. So yeah, that's what's happening this week. Stay tuned. I've been talking to a lot of ladies, and we have some in-person events coming up from now until the end of August. I'm just back from up north, and okay, I've got to sit down and enter all of those, but we have some fun stuff coming up. And because we have Miss Valerie on the call with us today, I'll also just mention that Valerie is doing a training, lunch and learn session in August, on August the 12th. Rewire your response, break the stress cycle, and lead with confidence. So you know that Valerie is a hypnotist and has many modalities that she uses to help her clients overcome their whatever challenges they may face. All right, so that's it from me. Over and out. Let me stop this share. And Marianne, I'm going to hand it over to you, my dear. Let me just go to participants and then give Marianne co-host. Marianne, I can't see you right now, but.
Oh, I'm here.
Yes, I knew you were here. You're just not on my little screen right now, and I just wanted to hear. Perfect. And Marianne, do you see now that you have access to the
I do. I'm just gonna set myself up here.
So for the ladies who joined us while I was doing that little introduction, please feel free to go into the chat box and introduce yourself there. And if you have any questions at any time, ladies, you're more than welcome to also put your questions in the chat box. Marianne, if you'd like, I can assist you by watching the chat box, or you can take care of it on your own, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, if you can assist me, that would be great. It's one less screen to look at.
Awesome. I'm a great Vanna. Last month we were at Collab Hive, and I was Vanna-ing it. So yeah, I can do that for you, Marianne.
You see here, we're just running a bit slow trying to get this to present full screen. The spinner. While we're waiting, does everybody or is actually looking at launching a product or a program or a service, or who actually has something in mind and that's why you're here today? Can just put your hand up. Great, good. Okay, so please interrupt me at any point if you have any questions, or pop them in the chat. I'll get Christine to interrupt me. You don't have to save them to the end. There's something that's a great question for you right at the moment. Let's dig into it right then. So I'm Marianne D'Alessandro. My business is Time Flies. Many of you know me probably as Time Flies Admin Services. I have been a virtual assistant, and I'm now narrowing down sort of my niche into this whole launch process. So it's plan, create, and execute, because that's really what launching is all about. And, we get so overwhelmed when we think about the fact that we have a product or a program, we got to get it out there. And, and then we're disappointed through it, or we're stressed, or we're frustrated and didn't work out the way we wanted. So I've worked with many clients, and I've pulled together this 6-step process through working with clients on their launches, but also looking at it from the point of a lot of pre-work. So that you are not overwhelmed during the launch process, because that's where I find the biggest struggle is. So let's dig in. Where's my little arrow here? Here we go. All right. So why did I pull this together? Launches can be a big bundled mess. They're roadways going in every different direction. And oftentimes we're so eager to just get it out there, or we're so nervous that, we don't put a flow together. Or in the case of one client I have, she doesn't put a repeat process together. So, she launches her small program about 3 times a year, and she has to go back into her social media to look for her posts and, and use them again. And, or she goes back in and can't remember how she set things up in MailChimp, and now she's got to figure it all out again. And I keep saying to her, we can fix this. And she's like, yeah, next time we're going to do that. And then she just goes off and does her own thing again and calls me halfway through and says, can you help me? MailChimp's not working. So, it becomes this big bundled mess because there's so many pieces. So what I want to do is look at each of the pieces and build them into just a really nice systemized approach where each step is a destination. Okay, so we plan this route, we keep the process moving in one direction. And of course, the goal at the end is to get people to buy, right? Or into the program, or just to educate them so that they know who you are and they know about your program. They may not first time around, they may not register the first time around, but the fact is they've seen the content in a systemized approach. And for you, as I say, each step is a destination. So each piece of this ends up being, a big checklist of what's been done. You've tracked it, and it's a route, when you think about Google Maps, and you can save that map so you can use it next time and the time after and the time after that, that's exactly what it becomes. This map that you can continually use. So let's get started. Okay, so you can take this system and use it for a big course or program launch, or a webinar launch, or a new product, or a book launch, an opening, an event. Or you can take it and stream it down into something small, like just getting your newsletter started, or restarted if you've let it slip. Or you can use it just simple for maybe a small special offer that you want to give. Maybe it's just a small freebie you want to give away. So you can scale this from being this big, really small, to a huge event. Okay. It is just a system that works whichever way you want it to, but it puts a flow in the process. So let's talk about the first 3 steps. Okay. So you're at the very beginning of the route, and you need to get started. And, I laughed when I was putting this together because I had everything as a pre-launch, and I thought, no, we've got to break this out. So I did a pre-launch, and it sounds really silly, and it's, just simple words, but that's exactly what it is. What do you have to do to really think about how you're going to get all the pre-work together? What are you going to do before you even get the pre-work together? And a few things to think about is, first off, is spend some time building your list, right? So we all have these lists. Are they clean? Are they, have we added to them recently? Have we asked people to sign up? Have we given out a fresh lead magnet just to get some fresh new eyes into our lists? Have we been on social media and kind of getting back out there a little bit? I've been pretty silent for quite a few months now. Just, life happens and things happen, and I've just focused on my VA work and not done any programs and stuff. So this is a great little single step for me, just to kind of get back out there, see some new faces, get my name back out there in social media, and just start rebuilding a little bit. And that to me is a bit of a pre-launch, right? You're kind of just taking those extra steps. Take some time to maybe narrow down where you want to promote this product or offer. Maybe there's some groups that you're really active in. Maybe there's some groups that work better. Maybe you want to try out some new Facebook groups. So this is sort of all the pre-stuff. So while you're still building the program, while you still don't have all those pieces together, you want to do a little bit of pre-work so that it's out of the way. Okay. In this case too, you can even decide that you want to do a waiting list. You might want to do something like, hey, coming in, 60 days. And every week you drop it down, right? Coming in 53 days or whatever it is, coming in 6 weeks, coming in 5 weeks, sign up to get on my wait list. So a lot of little things you can do way ahead of time to really get yourself back out there and start the pre-promoting. Then from there, we move into step 2, which is all the pre-launch stuff you have to put together. So you need to know what your price is going to be. You need to have all your sales wording for your sales page ready. You need to have your landing page ready so people can go to the page, read about it, get your testimonials in place, and have all of that done and branded and ready to send people to when you hit that today's the day to start button. Okay. So that all needs to be done. You've got to map the dates out in your calendar of, work yourself backwards. My launch date is going to be, August 1st. What do I need to do ahead of time? Okay. So that's all in your pre-launch. So now you've started to build an audience, you've reconnected with people, you're getting a good feel of where you can advertise, where you can market your stuff. You have your landing page ready, your sales page. Okay, now we've got to build some templates, all of your messaging, your social media posts, and you want to have all of this branded. And this is really what takes a lot of time. So you may have done some of this already, which is great, and you may not. Christine's Chat GPT course is going to be perfect for this part of it. And you want to decide, are you going to send an email every day? Are you going to send an email twice a week? Are you going to do social media posts every single day? What Facebook groups can you promote in? You can't promote in all of them every day. So, look at the groups that you're active in. Where can you promote? Make yourself a little calendar, a template, and use whatever system works for you. So if that means a Google spreadsheet, use a Google spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, a Word document. If you love Trello and Asana and that type of board or system, use that, but use what works for you. And what you want to do is you want to have your social media posts all ready to go. So you want to create them, have them available to use. You want to have all of your text for your social media posts ready to go. If you're going to do Facebook Lives or you're going to do Reels, you want to have that content ready. So pre-written, ready, you know what you're going to do. You have them scheduled as to what date you're going to post them on. You want to have all of your email messages written and ready. Now, they don't necessarily need to be in your email program. They could be in a Word doc and you might pop them in, whatever days you want to send them out, but have your text ready. So all of that work is out of the way. And it seems really overwhelming, but there's 2 reasons for it. One is once you're in the flow of writing and you've got those keywords that, you want to make sure you put in there and your thought process is going, you can really spend just a couple of hours and really, really pound out all of your content or a lot of your content. And you're focused, right? So your wording is all going to be a nice flow. Your branding is all going to be there because you're focused and you know what you're working on, and you don't have to go back, 3 days later and go, now, what color was it that I used, or what was I doing, or how did I want that? Not to say you can't go back and tweak or finish it later, but if you can block out time and have most of this all prepped, you are well ahead of yourself and you will not stress yourself out or overwhelm yourself when you decide it's time that the launch date is here, okay? Because it's ready for you. The second reason why you want to do all this is whether you are doing this yourself or whether you have a support system in place, a team in place to help you. The fact is, this is going to set you up for success because it's going to save you valuable time for sales. Once you press that go button, today's my date that I am going to start promoting this event, that's when you start your sales process. So that's when you start getting into and creating your funnel. You got to start looking at, okay, who are my past customers? Who do I want to bring into my sales funnel here? You want to be, if you're, depending on where you're promoting, if it's on LinkedIn or if it's more Facebook or if it's more one-to-one calls or if it's, weekly webinars, whatever it is, you want to be active in a sales role now. And if you don't have the pre-work done, you are going to be so tired from, oh my God, I got to write a newsletter today or a blog, or I got to get that email out to my my list. And then I got to do social posts. And where am I going to post today? Let me think about this. Oh, I missed the post deadline and such and such group. I didn't get the email out today. And now you're no longer in sales mode because your head is like elsewhere. So now you've got all your content ready. Someone else can post it for you or schedule it, or you can do it, but you're also in big time sales mode because you want to fill those seats. Does that make sense? Right? And that's why those first 3 steps are so important. And it's not that you can't continue to write messages and you can't change them, you can. But the fact is, if you've got a super busy day or a super busy week or something comes up with your family, the fact is you have content there ready to go. So there's no stress. You've still got that system, that methodology, that process going for you, okay? Which is going to bring you the best success because it's not just going to stop for a few days and then you got to figure out how to pick it up again and get the momentum going. The momentum continues. Right. Any questions up until now? Okay. So let's look at the last 3 parts. Okay, so 6 parts. I'm just going to kind of move this. I don't know if can you guys see the faces? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're into step 4, which is the grand rollout. This is the day. This is the go day. So, if we've decided today, July 8th is my go day, and I hit the button. Today's the first email that goes out. Today's the first blog that's going to get posted about this. Today's the first day I'm putting my social media posts out. Today is the day. And today is the day that I want to start connecting with people. Today's the day I need to connect with my audience, and I want to make sure that I am in this total role of the event or the product that I want to get out there. Okay, because my whole mindset now is wrapped around the fact that I want people in this program. I want people to buy this product. And I am going to look for ways, look for opportunities to make sure I can get this in front of people without being super salesy, right? We don't want to just keep popping it out there going, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, right? We want to be able to share, what am I going to now? I've got all my content, I'm going to share that, but what extra can I do to make sure I'm hitting up people, to make sure I'm talking about it, right? So I'm going to be networking, and during my introduction, I'm going to be able to talk about what it is I'm doing. I'm going to be, hopefully I found some speaking opportunities, or I'm still looking for some speaking opportunities so that I can talk about my program, my event, whatever it is, right? I'm going to be watching those social media groups and the conversations because something may come out of there that fits perfectly with what I'm doing. And now I can message people a little bit and offer them, not necessarily sell, because we don't want to go and say, well, hey, buy my book, it'll answer this, but I can offer them content to help them with what it is they've brought up because it's right along my line, right? Or I could let them know, I have this upcoming program. Did you want to have a conversation? I'd love to share some information to help you. And then maybe tell you about the program. right? So again, once this grand rollout is done and we've hit the go button, it's time to connect and sell. And that should be all that you're focused on during the time frame. Because now you're not stressed about writing content because it's done. You're not stressed that, my logo's not on stuff, or I don't have the social media post. It's done. Now I can relax and do some lives, some nice casual lives, Facebook lives, or, videos, or whatever it is that you feel comfortable putting out there. Now I can casually talk to people, right? Now I can keep adding to my list and make sure that they're going to get more content about my program. But all that pressure of all the pre-work is done. And now I can just focus on sales and connections. And then we move into, of course, the event date. You want to be prepared. You've got time now from the time of the rollout to if it's an event, if it's a webinar, a course, to spend a bit of time making sure your materials are complete, making sure you've got everything done for that, because you're not worrying about all of the marketing materials, right? You can spend more time just tweaking and finishing up course materials or program materials or event details, or all those little pieces that will make it extra special. Okay. And a lot of that, you can even still be, once you roll out, you can be asking questions of people, like I've got this program and I'm ready to roll it out, but I'm interested in, what do you think? What would you, if you were to sign up for this, what would you expect? So now you can add more tweaks in, and you've got a little bit more time in there to really maybe tailor it a little bit more, because all the other stuff's done. So we're working on rollout, and we're working on the event date, and here it is. We're ready to go. Now you can give your best because you're not stressed from all of that other thing trying to get people in. Hopefully everything you've done has worked for you. You've got the registrations. You're ready to go. You're enthused. You've got all of your people there. The event date's ready. Here we go. Yay. And there's, let's face it, we're all working for money. So there's the money in your pocket, right? So you've put the effort and time in, and it's paid off. The last piece becomes the part that we tend to forget, because, we roll out, we do the event, we finish it, and we're exhausted, and we close the book on it, and we close the files, and we say, oh, thank God that's done for another, 3 months, 4 months, whatever. But really, what's really important now is to do wrap up and evaluate. So go back and look at some of the email statistics. What emails got the biggest opens? What was unique about them? Maybe what social posts got the most comments or replies or likes? Because this will help you tweak your information for next time. So, you look at emails and maybe, you sent them out, I don't know, on Fridays, and they never got opened on Fridays. Well, maybe next time we cut back some content. We don't need as much content, because what's the point of sending it out? Or maybe there were social posts that you got a lot of interaction on. Well, this is great, because now let's look at what was that content. And maybe I need more of that type of content next time around. Or I'm going to make sure to use that post more than once if I'm going to get that much interaction with it. So there's lots of different ways to do your wrap up and your evaluation. The statistics is really big. It's really go back and look and make note of them. Because what you're going to do with those documents is you're going to look at them, you're going to take those statistics, and you're going to decide the next time you run the program, you let it sit for a while, but you want to make sure you take the information. The next time you're ready to run your program, you're going to pull that document out and you're going to relook at it all. And of course, you're going to tweak it. You may change your program name a bit. You may change a bit of wording. You might look at it and go, how did I write that? I don't like that at all. Or did I write that? That's amazing. So you're going to look at it again with fresh eyes and review it all and decide what it is that, is good, bad, okay, so that you can run this again and again and again. And maybe you stream it down. Maybe next time you're not doing as big an event and you go, okay, what are my key pieces? What are the one piece per week that got me the best statistics? Because I want to shorten my time frame. I don't want to run a 4-week launch program. I want to launch a small program, a mini program in a week. So let me pick 5 of my best content pieces and use those to do a short launch. Right? So that content, having it documented in one place so that you can easily scroll through it becomes, and the evaluation part of that becomes so important going forward. Okay. So now you've got all of your pieces. These are your big 6 steps, right? They're really, when you look at each one as a destination point, it's not as overwhelming to think about a launch, especially if you start doing all that pre-work. When I decide I'm going to run a program on September 1st, first thing I need to do right now is say, okay, I got to build my audience. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do that. Is this feasible? You know what? Maybe I'm going to wait till September 15th because that gives me an extra 2 weeks to do some of this pre-work and I won't be as stressed and I'll feel much more comfortable. And it gives me just that little extra time to put my foundation in place. Thinking about that. So working backwards pretty much from your event time. How much time is it going to take you? And how much time do you want to give it? So let's really look at, from that event date, how much time every day do you realistically have to do all of the work to get your launch in place or to launch on that date? If we're like Christine and we like to have our weekends off and we want to be up at the cottage all summer, September 1st is not realistic. So why am I going to do this to myself unless I absolutely have to? But am I going to get the best results if I really push it? And if I can't make it happen, if I've got children who are off for the summer, and I can't devote all of this time to it, how can I break this down, make it a better day for the actual event date, and work it backwards? And how much do I already have in place? So you can go back into some of the content you've already been using. And how can I take that and put it into a Word document or a spreadsheet or whatever it is, again, whatever program you want to use, so that it's available to me when I want to roll out. It's available to me when I'm ready for the event. So if you already have a program, or you're thinking about a program or a webinar, or you've already done, a launch, I would suggest you go back and find all those materials if they're not in one place, put them in one document or 2 documents so that all of the pieces are there. And it can also help you for your next launch or the launch after, or it can help you with regular social media, right? Think about building your list now. So you've got those pieces. Think about building your list. Think about all that pre-launch work and how much can you actually start now? Some great ways to build your list is, what about a new lead magnet that goes into the webinar or the course that you want to do? Maybe there's a lead magnet you can create quickly that you can start getting out there. Something new I've been seeing is when people are launching, they actually do a 3-step approach. One is they market a lead magnet. So they're putting it in their newsletters, they're putting it out on social media, they're giving away something for free, this document, ebook, whatever it is, for free. Then they're doing a free webinar. So now they're building their list and they're building it in multiple ways. So now they're doing a quick free webinar, join me for this quick 30-minute webinar on this, and this. And then from there, they open the door to their big program, right? So they're hitting people different ways. So if you give yourself the right amount of time and create all of that ahead of time, it's easy to put that in place, right? It's easy to put the specific dates in. It's easy to work each thing as a destination. And what do I need to get there? Okay, so if I'm doing a lead magnet, what do I need to get there? Oh, I got to create it. I got to have a landing page for sign up. I got to have people, I got to be able to go and promote this somewhere and get them signed up. Okay, now I got those people. Now I'm going to do a webinar, right? A little 30-minute maybe, or a Facebook Live training. And I'm going to market that. Now I got to have my landing page for that. And then I'm going to have people sign up for that. And I'm going to do that. Then I can take those pieces and I can market those for a few weeks to be able to get more people, right? I have them created now. So how can I reuse those? Think about a lot of reusing so that you're not overwhelmed with creating new content all the time and having things linked together. So it's this roadmap to where you want to take them, the customer journey along the road. Hi, Annalisa, go ahead.
Hi, Marianne, or Marianne, sorry. Thank you so much for all this info. I was just curious, when it comes to like timing, like from the pre-launch and creating all the materials and all that, what's the like how much time should you give yourself before you roll out everything? Like, is there like is it like, yeah, like how would you kind of gauge that?
Yeah, it's different for everyone. So I think you need to look at how much content do you have? How much content do you need to create? And how much time do you have to yourself? So I would say what you should do is sit down, kind of with just a piece of paper. Like I don't know, we get wrapped up in a lot of technology. I would sit down with a piece of paper and just, kind of write these points down and go, okay, I've got a list, but I could actually build my list. Do I have a lead magnet already? If I don't have one, let me give myself 3 days to create one, and how much time can you block in your calendar to get these pieces together, right?
Okay.
So I would say, honestly, to me, it's a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks to make sure you
Okay.
have all the content and you're comfortable with it.
Right.
If
Okay.
if you have no kids at home and, you can do this all day long because you don't have that much on the go at the time, then you could probably crush it down into less. I helped somebody plan a 120 person full day conference, and we did it in 9 weeks, but it was
Wow.
crazy insane.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would never recommend that. So, but she
Right.
was, she was gung ho that she was doing this. She started a week before she brought me in. And it was crazy. And I would never recommend doing that because too much slips through the cracks. But I would say block your calendar. How much time do you have? What do you need to create? And then you can look at it from there.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hi, Glennis. You're muted. You have to unmute.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Great information there. I love the slides. I love the graphics that you put there. So thank you for this very important information. I have two questions. One is, what are some effective lead magnets that people have found or you found that would be really good at increasing your mailing list? That is one. But the most important question I have is, for a entrepreneur who is still working a full-time job and has to focus on the content for their program, um, what would you recommend that would be a good marketing hack? Like, would it be, and really limited budgets for marketing? What is your suggestion that they could most effectively manage their or use their limited marketing budget to really use this time map that you said about marketing their courses?
Yeah, loaded question. Okay, let's look at lead magnet first. So, lead magnets are all different. People like and learn different ways. I found, the ones that I click on the most are usually a download, free download, which is like a workbook, a checklist, something easy like that. Sometimes video, watch this video and then you collect their email address before you give them that. But it's always a training piece, something I'm going to learn from, right? So it's going to be related to what you offer and something I'm going to learn from. The second part on how to create the materials and then actually do all of the marketing, you can do that fairly inexpensively for marketing because you can get a free Canva account for all your graphics. You can use MailerLite or MailChimp for email marketing or other programs out there. And you can use some free versions if your list isn't very big. So those work and they're free. The timing is difficult. And again, it's similar to what I said to Annalisa is, you have to block out time in your calendar and look at that and go, okay, this is going to be for product development. How close am I to having my product complete? And at that point, that's when you can start looking at, your time for your pre-launch, your pre-launch and your pre-launch. And then maybe set the date. Maybe you don't set the date until you have those pieces in place if you're afraid that you're going to be overloaded. So, yeah, does that help?
Yes, I think the blocking the calendar bit is good. I know the Pomodoro technique works as well, work in small little bursts, but the blocking of the calendar is a helpful technique, and I'm going to try that. Yes. Thank you, Marianne.
I definitely like the suggestion of actually setting the date and reverse engineer. So 10 weeks from now is when you're going to launch your product, course, offer. And then what I do, like Marianne said, she goes to paper. I will physically go into Canva and print out July, August, September calendars. They're all on the table. Here's the end date and go backwards. Right? If I'm doing it October 15th, then I'm 10 weeks, because it may be longer for you, Glennis, because you are a full-time employee with only part-time hours to work on your business, right? So you might have to go back even further than the 6 to 8 she's suggesting. And then block out like this 3 weeks is I'm going to come up with the content for the lead magnet. I'm going to find a freelancer to create and format the beautiful document and help you, if you don't know the technology, how to set up that landing page, like Marianne said, so you can start getting their email addresses.
Okay, got it. So just quick question to that, Christine. When you go to Canva and you print out your calendars there for the 3 months, what kind of calendars are they? They are just like a Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday kind of regular calendars?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I use. I don't get anything fancy. I just look for, like, you can just literally type in June 2025 or July 2025.
Okay.
It'll pull up blank, and then you can just get all the months. They're already set up there. I mean, you can, I just choose black and white simple. I don't do, and there's tons though.
Okay.
But just literally you put it on the table and then go backwards and then block the time. Like Marianne said, if you don't block it, it's not going to get done. If you don't have a deadline to finish that lead magnet, October 15th is coming and you don't have it done. So you have to have these like mini milestones, like her diagram here, right? With the pins dropped.
Yeah. Got it.
And I would recommend setting the date, because if you don't set the date, then the date never happens. It never comes. You don't work to it. You right? Life happens. Oh, I got a cold, and somebody's birthday.
I have all the dates. Yeah, I have all the dates planned for the whole year. It's now just working backwards. Yeah, but thank you for the tips, Christine and Marianne.
Yeah. Say too, when you block your calendar, know exactly what you're going to work on during that time. So have that, top item or top 3 or whatever, because I know for myself personally, I will say, okay, I'm getting up tomorrow morning and from, 7 to 8:30, I'm going to work. And then I get up and I make coffee and I sit down and I start going through my emails and I'm like, yeah, okay, now it's, 8:15 and I haven't really done, I've worked, but I don't feel I've accomplished my tasks. So now what I do is, okay, I'm getting up and these are the 3 things I'm going to do first thing in the morning.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
all I do until I'm, yeah. So
Yeah.
just when you're blocking your calendar, know exactly what you're going to work on. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Accountability helps for me as well, having somebody that's an accountability buddy. So I have a few people in place, so that helps. And I know Christine has some great work sprints as well that people work together. So good tips. Thank you.
I was just gonna add a little tip about your lead magnet. I think with regard to lead magnets, it's you really need to figure out what problem your audience has and what is the solution you provide. So if you can create a lead magnet that somehow solves their immediate problem or gives them some kind of relief to their problem, because obviously the course, the webinar, the training date, whatever, that's where you're going to really be able to solve their problem. But
Yeah.
that's what I found. If they're getting some kind of immediate solution to a problem that they're encountering, they're more likely to like download, give you their email address for
Yeah.
that.
Yes. I have one on my website. It's called a disc cheat sheet. So, people can download that for their, conflict resolution, communication tips, things like that. I do have that. Now, how do I market that? That's another thing. So,
Well, you're calling it a disc cheat sheet. I don't know. Up until last week, I didn't know anything about disc. So maybe you should get rid of
oh,
any kind of acronyms that
okay,
people
got it.
might not know and just go to conflict resolution with what? Who? Family, coworkers, friends. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to just tweak what you have
Okay.
so it's more, it's not so jargony.
Okay, got it. Thank you for that. I'll do that today. See, you learn so much from these lunch and learns. Thank you.
Sure. Cool. Okay. So, yeah, so from here, you save your roadmap, you refine it, you reuse it, and that's where it becomes, reusable. You can reuse it in full scale, or as I said, you can shrink it down. Pick your best pieces and only focus on those best pieces once you've evaluated it the first time, or mix it up. Add in some of your best pieces and some of the ones that maybe didn't do as well and see what happens the next time around. But the evaluation is always going to help you and guide you. And if your audience is changing, perhaps, or your product is changing a little bit, you can still use this and retweak it and tweak it, reword it slightly, but you've got all of your main pieces together. So the roadmap, just like our Google Maps that we save when we're driving places, is there to be reused over and over again so that you're not recreating constantly. So go out there and plan, create, and execute your product, your program, your offers, whatever it is, and build your business. And I'm open to more questions. If not, I pass it over to you, Christine.
Well, excellent job, Marianne. And I actually wanted to echo a few of the things that you have said because I've done a few launches in my day. And I definitely have some lessons learned and some lessons to learn. So thank you for those things that you shared. But I will reinforce with my social media hat: repurpose, reuse, recycle. As Marianne said, don't reinvent the wheel every time. So whatever you are sharing about a particular course or subject or event or book, put it, like she said, in a folder, so that in a Google Doc, so that you can pull it up and use it the next time you need it. Sometimes we forget we even wrote it, right? Marianne made a comment like, did I write that? That's not very good. Sometimes I read things and go, whoa, did I write that? That is so good. So definitely reuse, recycle, and repurpose. But it does help if you have a single repository for the information, so it's quick and easy access for you. The other thing that I wanted to share is that in my experience in running events, most of my registration comes in 42 to 78 hours before the event. It pisses me off, pardon my expression, drives me crazy, but that's what happens. So just be aware of that. If you think a week out, no one's coming, no one's signed up, no one's registered, don't give in to that little voice inside your head. Just keep pushing through, gals, because the signups will come. Regarding the signups, what I've found to be most effective, and I use all the methods Marianne spoke about, and you probably do too. We use our personal profiles, we use our business pages, we use our websites, we use, LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. And we can't just say buy, buy, buy. We have to show the ways that our product brings value, right, Marianne? And bringing value and demonstrating how your product service has transformed or helped other people. Does that make sense, everyone? You have to have multiple messages geared towards different ways that people learn and absorb. So get Glennis's information from last week about DISC. You have to present the information in different ways for different learners or different types of people. Their styles, but you have to do it a lot. People, sometimes people say, oh, I'm not going to do that again. No one signed up. I'm like, well, how many times did you share or promote it? Twice. Okay, guys, it takes 7 to 12 touch points. So unless you hit 12, you're not done yet. You got to keep going. You got to keep marketing. And on that point, I'll say that 80% of it is the marketing. As much as the creating the lead magnets, finding someone to do the work, writing all the messages, scheduling, as much as that feels overwhelming, that's really only 20% of it. The whole marketing and selling of it is 80%. So if you go into it not thinking that, then yes, you're going to be a little disappointed or maybe delusional. But please note, it does require a lot of effort on the end of the marketing and selling piece. And just I'll lastly say that a lot of my sales have been coming from PMs. Yep, I'm putting this stuff out there all over the place, different formats, different ways. But what I find is working is just sending hey, I'm running this course and I'm doing this program. And just in case you know anyone who might be interested, here's the link, and happy to answer any questions. I find that's the most effective for me right now. Like, for example, my ChatGPT class that's running on Thursday night, yesterday was Monday, and I'm like, oh crap, yeah, that class is running Thursday. Oh no, I don't have any signups. So I just started PMing people. So now I have 6 signups, like 6 people actually registered. And others who shared it on their timelines. As you know, I am grateful for that. And because it wasn't like, hey, you got to sign up. It was, hey, do you know anyone? Right? Glennis. Thank you, Glennis. You're on this call right now. You shared it. Yeah. So those are just my comments to echo what Marianne has said, and just to reinforce some of the things, because I think we need a little bit of an adjustment when we get started. We just think we're going to create this. We spend 100 hours. Of course, everyone's going to come. Guess what? They don't.
Yeah. Have all that
but you just got to keep going, right? You just got to keep going. Even if it's when I started, my first thing I put out there was Canva. No one registered. But I just kept going. And one lady said, I can't come to your class, but can I have a one-on-one? Hell yes, you can. So when she was in my class, which at the time was my dining room, I took pictures. She gave me a testimonial. And then I started teaching tips about what we talked about. So using her as evidence or social proof, right? So anyway, sorry, just wanted to add in a couple little things. Believe me, I've failed at so many. I've failed at so many.
We all do, but that's why, if you keep the content and you know what you're using, then at least the next time you go do it, you have some base points and you think, okay, what was I missing? Or what do I see other people do that I like? And now you pop that into, your document with your content so that next time you run it, you go, hey, I liked how they did that. I'm going to make some notes here and keep that. And I'm going to keep that wording because I like that quote or I like this or that. So now you have a repository. But if all you do is throw your content out there and not track it and not look at it, just kind of let it go, you're stuck the next time, right? And that's where you feel you failed. So, and having a lot done beforehand, like Christine says, is, those sales are going to come in right at the very end, but you're going to have time because you're not going to be stuck like, okay, what am I going to put on social media today? Because that content's all done. So what you're going to put on social media today is a Facebook Live, or maybe an interview with somebody. And I always live by the red car syndrome, where your car is gray your whole life and you think I'm getting a red car because I haven't seen one in months, and all of a sudden you buy a red car and every car you see is red, right? So I always believe that once you kind of put this in your mind, you'll see more content that you like, that you can pull into your own content. You'll see more things that you can use, and you'll have the time to add in some really nice little tweaks because all your pre-work's done. Your mindset is now there and you can move forward and have the time. Annalisa has one more question, I think.
When you're marketing, do you also market to people you don't know? Like would you do cold reach outs about like what you're doing, or just kind of stay within like who you know and other people that like kind of like like who do you know, or you're reaching out to your friends of friends and people you've met? Or
Yeah, I personally don't do cold reach outs directly, but if I'm like I use Facebook a lot. So if I'm on Facebook and I see somebody's posted something that's relevant to what I'm offering, I may send them a quick message and say, I saw your post and I'd like to give you some tips, or I'd like to, maybe this answer will help you. And by the way, I'm running this program, or if you'd like to learn more about, what I have that can help you through this, let me know. But I'm not one to just go do cold reach outs. It's not my thing. I don't know if it's anybody else's. It's not mine.
Okay.
No.
So I don't do direct cold reach outs. Like I wouldn't DM someone that I don't personally know. But I would do cold in Facebook groups that maybe I don't hang out in very often. Right? I might do some posting there, but I don't PM or DM strangers. It would be people that I have a relationship with in some capacity.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's helpful.
Anybody else feedback for Annalisa on that? Annalisa, sorry.
Right on
All
time.
right. Great job as usual, Marianne. Marianne, if someone wants to work with you, how can they do that?
I put my email in the chat. So you can reach me through my email. You can also find me in the MAWB directory, or in the MAWB group as well. If you just look me up there. Just connect with me however you like. I would say my website, but I took my website down because I'm updating it, and that hasn't happened yet. So
gotta time block it. So I did send an email out before this session started, and it had Marianne's information in there, with a link to the MAWB directory profile, as well as her Facebook and her Instagram. So when I send out the recording, Marianne, if you just want to send me your email address and your phone number, just in a quick PM so I can copy and paste it out. When I send the recording, I'll also include that. So again, if anyone wants to follow up, do a consult with her, or maybe work with Marianne on your next rollout, or your next launch, then you'll have her information quick and handy. Does that sound good?
Great.
Excellent. Okay, everyone, it's 1:03. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your lessons and expertise, Marianne. Have a great day, everyone.
No picture
Bye.
today?
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Oh.
welcome.